Hello, and welcome to another episode of Focus on Outcomes, where we talk to local leaders of organizations and discuss the work that they do or the giving that they provide to improve the communities that we live in and the outcomes that they deliver. Candice, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Great to see you.
Good to see you.
It's just us today.
Just us.
Yeah.
Just the two of us.
End of the year, opportunity for us to do a little bit of look back on some of the podcasts that we've done over the last year. We launched the podcast a little over a year ago now, and it's, currently the season of giving. As we were just talking, my email has exploded with Cyber Monday emails and, all of the things that have been going on this time of year. And a lot of organizations, a lot of people are thinking about the organizations in their communities that serve a purpose and that are, near and dear to their hearts. And
Absolutely.
So we thought it would be worthwhile to recap some of those organizations that we've talked to and highlight some of the work that they do and some of the giving that they receive.
Yeah. So our first guest when we first relaunched the podcast was Kelly Moran with Gordon Flesch Charitable Foundation. Maybe we can just give a little background on that, recap, and then they also have their application process opening up again in January. So we want to highlight and tell people how to, be able to submit their applications if they're wanting to.
Yeah, I was around when that got started, and it really came out of the tragedy of 9/11. And we used to have kind of significant organizational holiday parties, if you will, and spouses were invited, and they were at various, nice venues, and everybody dressed up in suits and ties, and, lots of awards and rewards and recognition was given out. And they kind of took a little look at that and said, maybe those dollars would be better served by helping people who are in significant need, especially around 9/11, which is where the Charitable Foundation was founded. And I think they've done some really neat things over the years. One really important thing is it's employee run. People apply to be part of that. And those employees take the applications from local organizations. They do site visits. They really look at how those organizations are supporting the community and prioritize them and have to make tough decisions. Of course, they can't give money to everybody, but I think it's a super rewarding thing for those individuals. The Fleshes are involved in making sure that the money's available, but they aren't involved in deciding who gets the final funds. I think to date, they've donated over $2 million, which is pretty incredible.
Yeah.
All in the communities that the Gordon Flesch Company works and where their employees live. It's a 501c3, so lots of employees also contribute to ensure that money, continues to be available and goes to those local organizations.
Sure. Well, and I remember something Kelly Moran talked about where the amount that they donate can sometimes be make or break for these smaller charitable foundations or the charities that we're donating to through the foundation, because a lot of them are using money out of their own pocket to just keep going and serving that cause that they're so passionate about. So what an awesome way for us as an org to, be able to give back to the communities that we live in. Love that.
Yeah, I think it's something that not only the Fleshes, but the whole organization is really proud of. And, I think people spend a lot of time thinking about those charitable organizations in their communities and suggest that they do apply and make a run at getting those dollars. And I think they've done a really nice job of moving those dollars around.
Yeah.
So I believe that the process is about to reopen. So what are the dates for the application and the deadline?
Yeah, so it opens January 1st. Deadline is March 31st. And if you're a 501c org, you can go to gflesh.com/givingback to submit your application.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you do know someone, by the way, if you're at one of those organizations that would like to apply and you know someone that works at Gordon Flesch, reach out, see if they can, throw a good word in for you, or maybe even be the one that's nominating you, because I think that does carry some weight. So
yeah,
that's a worthwhile thought.
Okay, well, then I'm going to switch to when we had Stephanie Hayden on. So she's CEO of the Ronald McDonald House Charities here in Madison, and she joined us at the beginning of this year. And she was able to just highlight a handful of different ways that people can get involved. One thing that we like to do at Levity is go do those make a meal. So about 8 of us usually go grocery shopping to pick out the food. Then we go downtown, make the meal. It's such a good way for anyone who's in the area and wants to bring their team or their family. It's so fun. We have such a good time when we go and do it. We went to try and book one recently, and it's completely filled for the whole holiday season. So I was excited to see that. Selfishly bummed that we don't get to participate here in December. But we'll obviously be scheduling one soon for early next year. But update on that. You're on the board now. So want to share a little bit about that?
Yeah. I always knew of Ronald McDonald House Charities, but I didn't really understand kind of really what they did or the impact that they have. And we started working with them when they had a need for technology support and started to get to know them a little bit. I think our sales rep did a tour and came back and was like, we've got to participate and help this organization, because what they provide, the service they provide is just remarkable, and the facility is fantastic. And so we started to get involved. We made a few meals. I got to know a few people and said, hey, if there's ever an opportunity, I would love to personally get more involved with the Ronald McDonald House. And so about a year ago, I started on a committee to help with fundraising and different ideas that they have to bring in dollars to support the mission that they have. And in a couple days, I'll be joining my first board meeting in a different role there. So I'm very honored to have that opportunity. I'm really passionate about the work that they do. The chapter in Madison, it's for those that don't necessarily understand Wisconsin, there's a huge university hospital that has a big children's component to that here in Madison. And the way that healthcare has transitioned, most severe pediatric cases, those families or those patients are moved to Madison for the treatment. There's only 3 children's hospitals in the state of Wisconsin. And so, if people have an infant or a young child that has a case that does require an extended hospital stay, they're having to come a long way away from home to do that. And that's expensive. And first of all, it's heart-wrenching, and it's a huge emotional impact to the family and real challenging. Plus, it's expensive. There's all of the things that are associated with that. So in the last few months, their capacity has been over 150%, which means 50% more rooms that they have is where the demand is. Thankfully, they've got some great partners in the area with hotels that their excess capacity is made available. But they provide such a essential service to families that are going through something very significant in their family. And it's a great place for those families to have a warm place to put their head, a warm meal, some people who are going through similar things, and just a place to kind of hopefully relax a little bit before they head back to the hospital to be with their child. So we've adopted that organization is kind of something near to a levity's heart. Speaking of making the meals, I was there with our executive team a week or two ago making spaghetti.
Fun.
Came in a little hot, had a little short window to get it done, but we got it done. I think people really enjoyed it. And the people who I was able to bring along hadn't experienced the house before, and so got a tour and felt just the same amount of passion and commitment to that we have when we've gone. So they're like, we need to do this regularly. So it's they do a great job, but like every charitable organization out there, they need funding to be able to keep doing what they're doing. I know that there's some initiatives to grow and to be able to meet more of that capacity.
Sure.
And so any opportunity that people have to contribute both in terms of time and talent, but also in treasure, would be very appreciated as they look to expand.
Yeah, absolutely. And so if you are interested in donating, you can go to rmhcmadison.org/donate, or you can also just check out their website for a handful of different volunteer opportunities. We obviously touched on the Make a Meal, but they have a ton of different ones. There's one where she mentioned on the last podcast where you can just go and organize. That's my jam. I want to give me a cabinet.
Yeah, we've made dinner, but you can make lunch. They make lunch available at the hospital for the families that are there. They do events with the children, so the siblings that are staying there, to do coloring. There's an opportunity to just drive people from one location to the next and just to be able to provide that service. So there's a significant amount of volunteer opportunities. I know they have a great crew of volunteers, some that have been there for a long time. She said it's interesting. Most of their volunteers are college students.
Oh, yeah.
And retired people. So it's,
I love that.
Some people with time, but also some people I think that have maybe felt a little connected to that. And
absolutely,
it's a really neat place.
Yeah, it really is. And then on a recent episode, we had Sean from Open Door join us, and they were sharing about their initiative to build and develop a sensory park in Columbus, Ohio. while we were recording that episode, Sean was like, they are actively putting fencing up outside. So I took a quick peek on their website, and they do have equipment starting to get installed. I have no idea if that's happening now that we got
great.
10 inches of snow here. I don't know what Columbus is looking like, but I do know that they're still looking for donations. So I wanted to make sure we were able to give them a shout out and take a moment to highlight how listeners can help them. So opendoorcolumbus.org/donate to donate, but you can also sponsor a piece of equipment. So if you haven't listened to that episode, go take a listen and then head to their page there and donate.
Yeah, and I think I'd encourage people just to go take a look at what this park is about, because I think it serves a community that just doesn't have access to the things that they need, or if they are available, they're not accessible. So it's a really cool thing that they're doing. Great history and tradition of how that organization was founded and the work that they continue to do. We've had a nice long relationship with those folks, and the more we get to know about what they do, just the more interesting and valuable it is, the service that they provide.
Yeah. Okay, so this is usually where we switch things over to unfocused outcomes. But I don't have rapid fire questions for us to ask each other today, but there's one that is worth resurfacing, which is the dilemma of crunchy versus creamy peanut butter. But I'm doing it because I'm also going to plug Feeding America of Eastern Wisconsin.
Great.
So the crunchy people came out to back you up.
I agree. If people that I do know listen to the cast were like, hey, by the way, I'm into crunchy. I'm like,
everyone's like, I'm a crunchy peanut butter guy. And I'm like, what? They're coming out of the woodwork. I'm a diehard creamy, so I'm not on board.
Have you tried crunchy? Because the last person that had a really strong opinion about crunchy said, I've never really tried it.
No, I tried it. It's just not for me.
Fine.
I'm a creamy peanut butter
gal.
That's why there's two options. But I thought I actually still believe majority of people like creamy, but I think the crunchy people are louder, and they're like, we're here to support Jeff and his crunchy peanut butter.
For the record, I do like creamy peanut butter. And, if I'm having a peanut butter jelly, which is not often, I would go with creamy. But if it's going to go on like a bagel or something, crunchy gives a nice little crunch. So I highly encourage people to go check out the websites of these great organizations that we've met with, and try crunchy peanut butter on something. On something.
It just cracks me up, the amount of people that come up to you and just openly share their peanut butter preferences now because they've listened to the podcast and they know. Yeah. It's great.
Surprising on lots of fronts.
Yeah.
And they have a peanut butter choice, and that they listen to the cast. So,
right. So many. I end up just being shocked by all of it. But that question was actually asked on the episode with Aaron Rice from Feeding America of Eastern Wisconsin. They recently partnered with the Milwaukee Bucks to do a PB&J challenge starting in February. Oh, cool. So I wanted to bring that up. Some talking points from their website, a staggering stat that I felt like needed to be shared is that 1 in 6 children in Eastern Wisconsin don't know where their next meal is coming from. And PB&J is just one of those things that all kiddos love to eat. It's also packed with protein and nutrients, all the good things. PB&J, those are also 2 of the most commonly requested items from food pantries, they said. So a $5 donation can help provide 35 sandwiches. Wow. So that starts in February and I believe goes through March. It might be longer than that. I should check. But to learn more about that specific challenge, you can go to Feeding America WI. feedingamericawi.org/PBJ.
Yeah, so that's a really cool thing, and it's great that they're partnering with the Bucks. Hopefully they can really accomplish what they're setting out to do.
Agreed. We also, Alevity is officially on Instagram.
Great.
I know. So I'm telling everyone on the podcast because they should go follow us at alevity.it. But we're also going to start asking people on our stories to submit questions for that rapid fire section of the podcast. So then they can be like, you should ask the guest this.
Wonderful.
Yeah. And they can get more involved as a listener. So that's fun as we go into next year.
Yeah. It'll be exciting to see an Alevity thing show up in my real addiction.
I know.
REEL, not REAL.
Do you need to reel it in with your reel?
I do. Yeah.
You're on there a little too much?
No, okay. But if I'm on anything too much, it's that.
Well, yeah, and then you get sucked in.
Correct.
So hopefully Alevity, though, starts to pop up, though, in people's reel addictions.
Exciting, yeah.
So we don't want listeners to reel it in.
Yeah.
Keep watching.
That's right. Well, Thanks for joining us. Great
Yes.
conversation. We've had some great guests and great organizations. So if you're listening to this and it's the end of the year or it's the beginning of the year and you're kind of thinking about what 2026 looks like and the contributions that your organization needs to make or the organizations that you individually would like to be part of or consider, those are 3 great ones to consider. There's many
Agreed.
out there. But think about the organizations that are making a difference, the outcomes that they're delivering in your communities, and every dollar matters, and everyone needs that assistance. So, thanks for listening. Happy holidays to everyone, and we look forward to continuing to talk.
Happy holidays.